Cory Holcomb hasn't just lost his marbles. He pawned them for store credit. And now we're watching the clearance rack version of sanity. Listen, if you make it to the end of this video, I can't promise you growth. I can't promise you wisdom. I cannot promise you that you will leave here smarter than you came. But what I can promise you is that you're about to witness what happens when someone opens the closet door and instead of skeletons falling out, it's laundry day from 2007. Dirty drawers, mismatched socks, receipts that you forgot existed. Yes, people. This isn't just a meltdown. This is a yard sale of unresolved issues. Stay seated. Don't touch anything. We're just observing. Cory Holcomb has been trending lately after some old footage resurfaced of him saying some things. Let's just say that'll make you blink twice and check to see if your Wi-Fi glitched. But before we get into those things, hit the like button and hit the subscribe button. It goes a long way. All right, back to the video. Now, if you're new to this situation, I'll need to prepare you. What you're about to hear may make your brain itch in a very specific, uncomfortable way. The kind where you're not even mad. You're just confused. You're just confused. Because you start to ask yourself, wait, did he really just say that? And more importantly, why would any sane human being let those thoughts fully finish loading? This isn't regular controversial. This is who cleared the draft controversial. So buckle up. We're not here to overreact. We're just here to process the facts that sometimes the internet digs up clips that will make you question whether common sense was on vacation that day.
You ever looked in a daughter room who almost grown?
Oh, here we go.
Okay.
You ever looked in a bee's daughter room who's almost grown?
Jesus.
This shit go out. It was amazing. In 3 weeks, gonna see this whole episode on SVU. I can't crack any jokes.
Want to talk about that?
I didn't hear
Wait,
the question.
what? We're just gonna.
Any of the their kids saw you naked or something.
Wait.
No.
It was an accident, but it
Almost.
happened.
Yeah, I had almost.
One day the kids walked in the room and me and the mama was under the cover naked. And then one of the little girls got under the cover and was like, oh, I was like, yeah.
I'm in here too. How old was the little girl?
Probably about 9.
Oh, she wasn't.
What the fuck? Yeah, he cooked, bro. He cooked.
She saw why her mama ain't charging me no rent.
He was like 3 or something. She was like, mommy.
I was living with this lady and her daughters crawled in the bed and I ain't have on shit.
Yeah.
I was up under the cover.
Wow.
And I was like, oh shit. And one of her daughters was like,
rest in peace.
her daughter was, she was in high school. I think she was 15. Still not legal. You just can't tell your true thoughts.
Yeah, pretty sick stuff, right? So to better understand Cory Holcomb, I did like any sane investigator would do. And I went digging for understanding. And I came across an interview that he did with Cam Newton.
When you talk about things, like I said something about abortion earlier.
Yes, sir.
And I said some things about the Bible earlier. Trust me when I tell you there's beauty in the dark. The stuff that people think you're not supposed to say, you really, listen, you are supposed to say certain things because if you don't talk about it, the people will be programmed into thinking it's wrong to talk about it. There's nothing wrong talking about my interpretation of the Bible. There's nothing wrong talking about aborting babies. There's nothing wrong talking about it. It's just you're programmed to think, ooh, he said that. I didn't do anything wrong. I just talk about it. And
In that conversation, Cory talks about freedom of speech, being untouchable to cancel culture, and dark humor. And look, I can sit here and say that I completely disagree with everything he said, But that wouldn't be true. Controversial conversations have pushed society forward before. Hard topics can be uncomfortable, but necessary. Growth doesn't always come bubble wrapped, but there's a difference between challenging ideas and saying things about children that most adults, rational adults, wouldn't even let form into a sentence. Cory's crazy.
To other countries, I'm just saying, in America, most people only know what they know in America, but I've been to other countries, and in Iceland, I think the legal age to get with a girl is 13 years old.
Oh, wow.
Right, it blows people's mind when they hear it. But in Iceland, R. Kelly is not a criminal.
He's trying to get extradited.
He's a normal guy in Iceland. I went to Iceland, and you just can't offer him money and gifts. And I thought that was so unfair that you couldn't give him nothing after you was done with him.
This dude crazy. I'm not going to Iceland. So I assume you've been to Iceland and you took advantage of the laws. Is that what you're saying?
I had a great time in Iceland.
Wait, we're not going to go there.
Now, what's worse than being wrong? Being surrounded by people who convince you that you're never wrong. Because once you start to believe that everyone else is too sensitive and you're the only sane one in the room, that's when self-reflection quietly packs his bags and leaves. I read one comment section and was totally surprised at how many old farts were in there defending him like their life depended on it. But here's the reality. Most people will defend anything if it protects something that they can relate to. Sometimes it's not about logic. It's about comfort. It's about identity. It's about not wanting to admit that something that you laughed at may be a little off. And that's where this conversation gets interesting. Now, Cory's latest podcast, he brings on a pastor to his show, old friend. And I'll show a clip here in just a moment. And the pastor does what most pastors do in these type of situations. He frames the criticism as spiritual warfare. Calls the people speaking out devils. I mean, we heard this before. This is what they do. There's not much accountability in that moment, not much real counsel. But to be fair, he did give Cory one solid piece of advice. Moving forward, stop feeding it, elevate past it, things of that nature. And I thought that was really solid advice. Because honestly, that part should happen. If you're not going to take accountability for it, leave it alone. In my opinion.
Yeah, Luther, man, you was talking to me, giving me counsel, and I know it's coming from a good place because we talk about what it is as you do your work with the Lord, and there's other work that we do or that you do just because coming from where you come from, and it's all appreciated. I wanted to bring you on the show so you could talk to the people about the wise counsel that you gave me.
You can't allow small people have big seats. And what you did, you allowed small people to have big seats. You can't allow everybody in your space, and you can't give everybody your platform. And we all make mistakes. Sometimes we don't vet people out like we should. And so because it escalated like it did, in which we have human moments, and you allow situations happen like it did, man, the one thing that we do is, let me tell you something, what the Bible says in Proverbs. Here you go, and you're going to love this. A fool utters all his mind, but a wise man keepeth until afterwards. In other words, it says a wise man is quiet. Or you don't got to speak on it no more. If you keep talking about it, what you're doing is you're giving the devil is not a mind reader. He can only react what comes out of your mouth. That's why when you make moves, you stay quiet. That's why
I made a mistake last week. I said the devil is powerful, didn't I?
And the devil has no power. All he got is tricks. Let me tell you something. Your 5150, they want to hear Cory Holcomb. They come on the lab. They don't want to hear about that stuff no more.
The issue is that Cory seems very sensitive about this situation. And that's understandable. I mean, you're being called a PDF. You're being called a PDF. It doesn't get more sensitive than that. But he would take the advice from the pastor and nod, but in the very next breath, he circles right back around to it.
Nut still hanging. Darlene, you not supposed to like me.
Who said I do? Not really.
All over the internet.
It's going to happen. It's going to happen. People need a story.
So if you scroll through the comments, you will see that a lot of people share the same sentiment. They're tired of the same old topics, the same conversations. Cory's been attacked. He's no pedophile. They're tired of hearing the same thing on every podcast. They're tired of hearing the same talking points. They're tired of him trying to defend his posture. So here's the tricky part. For me, there are no beaten allegations. He said what he said, and it's on video. So for all the people that came in my comments on my last video about Cory Holcomb, saying that I was creating narratives about Cory Holcomb, I'm not. I'm only going off the things he said that's captured on video. But if there's no clarification, no accountability, no ownership, then continuing to talk about this topic is just keeping the fire burning. At some point, if you're not going to address something, the smartest thing you can do is just move on. Then Cory pivots like he always does, trying to deflect. And he starts to say that bloggers are being paid and the media is pushing narratives. He also says that he's now bigger than the Epstein files, which is not true.
So
No, they've been incentivized, and what they've done
There you go. Yeah.
and what they've accepted is very easy to trace because
True.
they ain't got
True.
shit. Shit, the Epstein
Until they
files ain't
release
got
more.
shit on me.
Oh my God.
Which is what they wanted in the first place. I just didn't think they would use me. I will say I'm shocked. I'm like, they used me? But
The Epstein files involve global elites, the government, and international investigations. So it's not the same, Cory. You're not that important. Saying stuff on a mic doesn't put you above that. It puts you in a category that people are already hypersensitive about. That's all it does. So that comparison doesn't elevate you. It just makes the room quieter. Honestly. Quieter. So with that being said, this isn't about canceling somebody. This isn't about silencing somebody. It's about if you said it, and it's on camera, and there's no ownership, and if you're constantly going to revisit it, it's just going to keep reopening the wounds. At some point, silence is smarter than ego, but ego doesn't like silence. Ego likes microphones, and right now, the microphone is winning. But hey, that's just my perspective. But sometimes, perspective is the only sane thing that's left in the room. Hey man, appreciate y'all for sticking around to the end of this video. If you like this content, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button once again, and also click this video here. Click this video here so you can see how the beef between T.I. and 50 Cent is panning out. I think 50 is losing. I think he's losing. But you be the judge. Sound off in the comments down here, and I'll catch you on the next video.